right. I will call the meeting to order. This is the Wednesday, April 5th, 2017 meeting of the Reno City Planning Commission. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Michelle, can we have roll call, please?
Okay, Ed Hawkins,
Here.
Paula Levis,
Here.
Charles Reno,
Here.
Troy Schneider,
Here.
Kevin Weisky,
Here.
Mark Johnson,
Here.
and Peter Gower is absent. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So the first item on the agenda tonight is public comment. This item is for either public comment on any action item or for any general public comment. I will open public comment. Michelle, do we have any request to speak forms on this?
No, we do not.
Okay. Hearing and seeing nobody rushing to the podium, I will close public comment and bring it to our next agenda item, which is the City Council liaison reports. I believe we had one from Councilwoman Breckus at the last meeting. Do we have any updates that we're aware of?
Nothing further to report from the City Council liaison tonight.
Okay, thank you. And then item number 5, the presentation on the status of the sustainability plan has been postponed, I believe, is it the May meeting?
Correct. May.
Correct,
Mhm.
okay. So we will push that one back, and we will move on to item number 6, public hearings. The first item on our agenda is case number LDC 17-00048, Damani Ranch Village 9B. If we can have the applicant's representative make a presentation.
Good evening, Gabe Whitler, Odyssey Engineering, representing De Loretto Homes in Nevada. I'd just like to thank you for holding a special meeting just for me and our project this evening. That was awfully kind of you. I'm feeling kind of special here. So the proposed application here is a tentative map. It's really kind of a tentative map amendment. Damani Ranch Village 9 in its entirety was approved about a year ago. A tentative map for 111 units. Subsequently, we've recorded a final map for 65 units. And as part of that, the developers kind of broadened their product line. And so we typically have a combined footprint that fits everything about 66 feet. And they added some more narrow lots or product. And so by restricting some of the units to those smaller lots, we were able to get a few more lots in the layout. So this is a rendering of one of their models. They're all single level homes. It's the same general product that De Loretto's been building up the street on Carrot Avenue. The project's located in the kind of northwest corner of Damani Ranch. It's been part of the original master plan all along. It's in the purple zoning, is mixed residential. It's allowed up to 30 units per acre. We're at about 5 with the current layout. The remaining portion that we're adjusting is just under 11 acres, excuse me. The orange area, north is to the right on this display, so Carrot Avenue is running to the right. We're just at the northeast intersection of Steamboat Parkway and Carrot Avenue. The orange area is the 50 units that we're proposing to amend. So our overall original approval was 111 units. This will put us at 115. So it's really a request for 4 additional lots within the same original boundary. The remaining lots you see there with the cul-de-sac layout is what's already been final mapped and is under construction. This is the display of the original tentative map approval with the 111 units on it. And this is the proposed. There's not much difference there. I made a little adjustment on the north end to remove a knuckle. But really all it was just changing the width of some of the lots to accommodate a couple extra units. It's just a color display. The east side is east and north side are bounded by the wetlands, common area, again, south by Steamboat Parkway and west by Carrot Avenue. I looked back through our original report in 2002, I believe, when we did the master infrastructure planning in this area, and we were accommodated for 150 units, so we're still well under what the master plan was anticipating here. We're not proposing to change the master plan, just what we had originally approved for the tentative map in this area. So that's the short of it. It's pretty simple. I could ramble on for a little longer if you like, but if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you on those questions. Heather, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Gower and Commissioners. Heather Manzo, Assistant Planner for the record. The applicant did a great job of outlining the history of Village 9 and the request that's before you this evening. Staff is in support and can make all the findings related to this request. I did receive 2 phone calls from residents within the area who were requesting clarification on what the request was for, and NAB members, as well as comments from calls received, did express interest in maintaining the wetlands as they are today. The applicant is not proposing any change or impact to the wetlands as they exist today. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we get to public comment, if there is any, I'm going to ask for disclosures. Commissioner Snyder?
Commissioner Schneider, no disclosures.
Commissioner Reno, I visited the site, read emails on it, and I think that's it.
Commissioner Johnson, I previously visited the site and we received an email or 2.
Commissioner Gower, I visited the site and read the emails.
Commissioner Hawkins, I visited the site.
Commissioner Olivas, I visited the site and saw the emails.
Commissioner Weisky, I rode out to the site and received an email.
Excellent. Thanks for that. At this time, I will ask for public comments if there are any on this item. I'm going to go ahead and open public comment. And if you'd come up, state your name for the record, and then get a comment card to Michelle when you're done.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Charles Senna. I live actually right across the street where this development is going. I've written several comments to the newspaper. I've contacted the developer, and my concerns were that a lot of the water that is used for the aquafilter, the reservoir, is being taken up by this developer who is using it to soften up his dirt. And I'm also very concerned that when you look at that property and you look at satellite images, it looks like they have expanded 40 feet beyond into the wetlands. And that is what I'm really concerned about. There's more development in that area. You know, the wildlife was here long before these developers were here. I had spoken with Steve, not this gentleman here, but the developer. I'm not sure what the name was. DeMonte, I can't remember his name. But we've had some very curse words back and forth. I was very concerned about them taking all the water out of the estuary. And I made some comments to the newspaper. But my main concern is that it looks from the satellite vid and from where the fences are, that the land has been pushed back at least 40 feet, allowing them to have additional homes on that lot. And it's just a very bothering system to me that our city council, you know, you said you took a tour, but did you actually look at the property that they're using? There's a lot of land that's being taken out of the estuary, out of the wetlands. They're using the wetlands to allow more houses in there. You know, when you look at them, when you see it every day and they're pulling in more rocks, more dirt, and going into the wetlands, that's a real bother to me. That is supposed to be federally protected, and that was my conversation with Steve. Who's the developer? Di Loretto. I spoke with Steve, you know, and I have addressed this with the city. I've addressed it with the Forest. I've addressed it with the Reno Gazette. This is a real concern that we are developing more and more land, but what we're doing, or what the contractors and the developers are doing, is taking up the wetlands. All you have to do is look at the fence where it's located. And I have pictures here because it has really bothered me a lot that the developer completely uses all the wetland water for his own personal use instead of drilling holes and pumping the water out of the ground like most of the other developers. This guy, you can go there, there's 2 setups on the wetlands, and their trucks are constantly pumping the water out of the wetlands into their trucks and then irrigating the ground that they're developing. This is a real problem to me. I'm not sure how long I'm allowed to talk, but it's just very irritating to see the beautiful lands taken up and then stolen from the federal protected lands. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're saying I'm done, right?
Appreciate your comments. It's
Okay.
a 3-minute public comment
there.
period. So we appreciate that. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. A soft closure of public comment. Bring it back to the commission for questions. Staff or the applicant. Commissioner Hawkins?
Thanks, Chair. Like to talk to the applicant's representative. Need you to come back and let us know where you're getting the water for your grading. Now, I understand that this thing's already been mass graded at one time when you were doing 9A. We doing other than what we're supposed to, or why are we regrading and getting the complaint for use of the water?
Gabe Whitler, Odyssey Engineering. So Demonte Village 9 was, has been, we've had a mass grading permit on 9 for quite some time, and it's actually kind of one of the last remainder pieces, thank you, of the Demonte Ranch development. And so it's been used for spoils. If you can kind of see in the middle there's the dark spot. Those are stockpiles from trucks as they delivered material here. So throughout the years, as the other, maybe I'll step back and just start with the the broader overview first. All of these wetlands at Demonte Ranch were created as part of the development. So they were engineered and designed. They also provide flood control for the region. And it was all done with a wetlands consultant, and it was all delineated. In fact, the delineated area, let's see what I got, which one's best here, is the blue that you see. Now the water today, if you go out there and look, doesn't exactly follow what the delineated wetland boundary was, but that blue portion is what is part of legally part of the Army Corps permit, excuse me, that the Demonte Ranch has for their wetland system. So as all this was designed and engineered and built over the years, the wetlands were also mapped, and there's significant documentation on all of that. But the boundary that you see on the east and the north side of this project were also mapped, and that is the actual parcel line of Demonte Ranch Village 9. And so the development stops at that boundary, but the slopes are built within the open space. So it's really built within common area, which is still, most of it's still owned by Nevada Tri-Partners, which was the master developer for Demonte Ranch. And so that's pretty typical throughout the development. We would create the boundary or property lines at the limits of the developed parcel, and then the sloped areas or walkways or common area grading would happen within the common area parcels themselves. So we're not pushing into the wetlands on the east side at all. The slope on the north side was never finished, and that may be what the gentleman's referring to, is that it still looks disturbed and it still has open grading on the right side of this image above lots 88 through 92. So that's still disturbed. Now there is another parcel. Let me look for an overall.
I just want to check in to make sure that we're getting at Commissioner Hawkins' question here.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to kind of give you the overall of the wetlands, and I'll work back to. So this hatched area is Demonte Ranch Village 9B. This line is our boundary, which is where the lots themselves will stop. And everything you see out here is still left undisturbed and has been reestablished. The wetland area is actually on this side. There's another parcel out there that you don't see, which is still a developable piece, which is this parcel, which if you were to fill that, it would look significantly like you were filling in the wetlands. But the point I'm trying to make is the delineated wetlands that were intended to be created and preserved are not being disturbed by this development. And we've had an ongoing grading permit, so as other developments have been filled and they have spoils that occurs when you build a house and you have trench spoils, that off-haul came to Village 9, and was used as fill to fill in one of the last pads in Demonte Ranch Village 9. So I guess the short answer is no, we're not. We're not
The one
disturbing
thing I'm
it.
concerned about is the use of the water. Where's your water for grading come from?
Right now, there's a fill stand located right about here, which does pump directly out of the creek. Now, the developer has permits through NDEP. Most of the water that you see in this area during this time of year is from runoff and groundwater. Even it's that shallow. And then throughout the drier seasons, this is the tail end of the irrigation ditches in the area, and there's a couple users still downstream, and so that tailwater gets into Demonte through the south end, through the Caramel Ranch, works its way through the wetland system that was designed and created by the master development, works its way down to the north end is the limits of the Demonte Ranch, gets back into another ditch. I believe there's one or two users to the north end that still have ditch rights. So that's the water that is being drawn out of there. And again, it has to be permitted, monitored through NDEP is the kind of the regulator on that system. But yeah, that stand has been used for construction water at Demonte Ranch for years.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioners, other questions? Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Weiss?
just as a point of clarification for the gentleman that got up and spoke in public comment, we're the Planning Commission. We are not your city council. So that's a different level of government that is above and beyond us. So I just wanted you to know that for clarification. And with that, if nobody else is ready to discuss anything, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, and please do.
In the case of LDC 17-00048, Demonte Ranch Village 9B, based upon compliance with the applicable findings, I move to approve the tentative map, subject to the conditions, and I can make all of the findings.
Okay, thank you. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Reno, I can make all the findings, and I'll second that.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
you may want to read the appeal process. Might be helpful.
good point. I will do that. There is a remedy through the appeal process if you do wish to go that route, and I'm going to read that for you here. It's on the agenda. But it is any final action, not including recommendations or failure to take action by the Planning Commission, may be appealed to the Reno City Council by the applicant, the mayor, or a city council member, or any person who is aggrieved by the action or inaction. An appeal, together with fees, must be filed with the city clerk within 10 calendar days, starting on the day after written notice of the action is filed with the city clerk. And if the 10th calendar day falls on a weekend or holiday when the clerk's office is not open, the appeal may be filed on the next business day. And again, that's on the agenda as well. So with that, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is number 7, Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Liaison Report. And I can say that we do have a meeting scheduled for next Wednesday.
Commissioner Reno, we had a meeting last Wednesday. Was it last Wednesday? Yeah. It was a pretty brief meeting, but it had to do with USA Parkway, property for USA Properties, I think is what it was called.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to staff announcements. Sienna.
Yeah, just a couple of quick items to update you on from the March 22nd City Council meeting. In terms of the text amendment for the Wells Avenue Neighborhood Plan parking standards, that was introduced and approved, so it's moving on to adoption at the April 12th City Council agenda. And then also, the council took action to sponsor a regional plan amendment that would facilitate the South Meadows substation and transmission line, and that was associated with a special use permit that this body approved on March 1st. So that's moving forward through the regional plan amendment process, and then ultimately the project of regional significance process. That's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner suggestions for future agenda items? Don't think so. Okay. Number 10, public comment. This item is for either public comment on any action item or any general public comment. See no one jumping forward for a public comment. Here's your chance. No, no takers. Okay, so we'll move on to adjournment. Commissioner Weisky, yeah.
Make sure he signs your paperwork before you
That's right. Depends on the teacher, I think. So I'll entertain a motion for adjournment then.
So moved.
How about a second?
Good night.
All right, thanks.